Just as a reminder, you guys, we are on a series based on koshas, the different layers or casings of our being. And I am trying to show you here a diagram. So the outermost layer is the first. There's 5 that encases the soul. This week we're on the 3rd manomaya kosha, which is all about the mind. Well, I appreciate you guys being here on a Wednesday for this gentle and restorative practice. Just so you know, the studio is on a limited schedule this week due to spring break. So if you typically just show up, just make sure the class is still on schedule this week. Next week, everything will be back to normal. I am in the process of doing a 5-week series based on something called the koshas. And the koshas were written about in the Upanishads, one of the ancient texts of India. Koshas represent sheets or layers. It's also considered casings or cloaks that basically cover the true essence of a person, which is the soul. And so the first week we talked about the outermost layer, which is the most physical layer, which is the physical anatomy of our bodies. It's what's tangible, it's what's touchable, it's what can be seen. The second week, last week, we talked about the second layer. And these layers go from gross to subtle. So we went from the gross anatomy of the body last week to the energetic body, or what we call the breath body, with breath, sun, and food being the things that help to generate more energy for us. It's the portals of energy that help to animate the workings of the mind and the movement of the body. And then this week, we moved into a more subtle layer than that. And that is the mind, and what's called manomaya kosha. So mano in Sanskrit means mind. So if this is the mind layer, it's the mind stuff. So it's all of our thinking processes, our opinions, our beliefs, our ideology. It is our excessive compulsive nature in our mind of having the thoughts on repeat. And science says that we have 90% of our thoughts on repeat every day. That's a lot. And most of them are not helpful. Most of them can actually bring in that idea of the doubting Thomas. They can be full of fear, questioning, judgments, things of that nature. So the whole practice of yoga and meditation was actually built upon psychology, how to study the mind and how to understand how to train, and actually reprogram the mind. So if you're wanting to learn a little bit more about this, if you feel like you've got a pandemic brain, I designed a workshop that I'm going to be doing this weekend called Reset the Pandemic Mind. And it's going to be all about the subject, and it's happening this weekend. So with the mind stuff, when we come to the mat, we're noticing at any point, are we focused just on the physical body, the alignment, the structure, the strength, or the weakness? Are we focused on the breath, moving with breath, synchronizing with breath, using the breath for our benefit, and how the breath affects both us physically as well as mentally? And then the mind stuff. Notice where your mind is at. Are you pushing yourself too hard? Pull back. Are you giving yourself not enough of a challenge, right? You could be on either end of the spectrum. Then put a little bit more effort in. Also, the mind can be something that we can work with at a more detailed level, which we're going to be going into with the next layer next week. So I would save that one, because that will be the next subtle layer. So at any given point today, just start to notice, where is my mind? Where is it trailing? It could be fantasy. It could be reflecting on the past. It could be about daydreaming, right? There's all these different things that can come up. So we're going to go ahead and do some breathing exercises. adding in pranayama. And we're going to do this from standing since we're going to end up restoring and relaxing. So let's go ahead and get up and stand. And I want you to look down at your feet and line up your toes as if they were on one straight lane. Once you ground your feet, bring your hands to Anjali Mudra, prayer position at your heart, and let your thumbs kind of nestle into the top of the sternum. There is an acupressure or marma point here for the heart chakra. And close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths. Feel the contact of the sticky mat beneath your feet. Allow the bones and the joints to be aligned through the lower body. Find equanimity with your weight, distributing the weight evenly between the left and the right side, but also in the soles of the feet between the heels and the toes. Check in with any messages being received from your body, and keep incorporating your breath. Taking the reins of the breath is what helps to calm and slow the wheels of the mind down. So control it in a conscious way. Deepening and lengthening the in-breath, deepening and lengthening the out-breath. On your next exhale, relax your arms down. As you inhale, crack your eyelids open and take the arms up overhead. As you exhale, bring a soft bend in the knees and fold over the lower body. As we inhale, we're coming right back up. Press down through the feet, lift the back of your hands skyward. And as you exhale, soften your knees as you fold over the legs. Continue, inhale, bring it up. Exhale, take it down. Doing 3 more. Your breath may be faster than mine. If that's the case, your movements can be quicker. This time when you fold over, we're going to hang here. And we're going to do the yin variation of the forward fold. That means we're going to keep that same bend in the knees. We're going to flip the hands upside down if they touch the floor. Don't worry if they can't. Shift your weight forward towards your toes by rocking your hips just an inch forward and let the head fall heavy. Loosen and neutralize the neck. Let your arms hang freely. And you're welcome to close the eyes. You might begin to feel an eruption of sensation or vibration occurring through the backside of the legs. This is not only good for the hamstrings, this is good for opening up a major meridian in the back of the body, according to Chinese medicine, which is called the urinary bladder meridian. Giving space to the kidneys, the flush to the liver, and rebooting for the mind. So anytime we're inverted and the head is dropped lower than the heart, it can be a calming agent for the mind, unless you get caught up in that first outermost layer, where you're obsessed and fully fixated upon body and sensation. So use your breath to go beyond it. Quietly holding 3 more breaths. And when you're ready, bend the knees even more. Drop the tailbone halfway towards the floor. Then scoop the belly in and roll it up 1 vertebra at a time. Keep that
navel piercing towards the spine so you have some core support for your back. Your knees are going to be bent. You're going to flex your right wrist. You're going to inhale, take that right arm out and up. Gaze back towards your hand. And as you exhale, sweep it down and forward. Inhaling up and back, stroking the arm. Exhale, swoop it down and bring it back up. And we're just opening up some range of motion, the shoulder, getting a little minor twist in the process. Simple, gentle movement, but very effective. Last one. And then we'll flex the left wrist. Same approach. Inhaling up and over. Exhale, swooping down and back to the front. Anytime we roll the shoulders back, it's also great for our posture. Because our shoulders typically want to slouch and shroud the heart. Couple more. Back up to stand. When you come back up to stand, you're going to separate your feet. Your knees are going to bend and your thighs are going to roll wide open. You're going to bring your arms up to a 90-degree angle. This is called Kali Goddess pose. Lift your elbows as high as your shoulders and keep your wrists kind of aligned over the elbows. This is going to strengthen the legs, but what we're going to add in is a twist. So as we inhale, we're just moving from the waist up. If your hips or knees wobble, try to keep them stationary. So it's only movement in the upper body. And you can go slow or fast with this one. I think it's fun to speed up. In Kundalini Yoga, they do this very rapidly. And they usually use a mantra called Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, which means I am truth. Truth is my identity. Truth is my name. All right, when you're ready, bring the fingertips down to the floor, keeping your knees splayed apart, dropping your hips about halfway down. You might start to feel a little burning through the quads or through the thigh bones. Take one last breath. And when you're ready, straighten the legs, heel toe the feet just slightly wider and gently fold. What we call Prasarita Padottanasana. We're doing a couple inversions in our warm-up, specifically geared for this third layer of manomaya kosha. Last week with the pranamaya kosha, with the energetic layer, we talked about how practices like acupuncture and Reiki specifically go right to that layer. We were talking Monday how meditation is a great way to focus on this layer of the mind, sitting and just being with our thoughts and becoming more contemplative. Mantras are a great way to meditate with this layer because mantra means mind tool. And it's a good way to help to reprogram the mind. We used Om Mani Padme Hum earlier this week. We're going to use one today called Aham
prima. Aham prima. And it means I am pure love. I am love. Your next inhalation, gently begin to walk the hands forward, lift your head up, stack your hands to your waist, plug the feet down in a heavy manner, and slowly rise back up. Good. When you rise back up, close the feet together. We're going to come back down to the floor. We're going to bring the hands alongside the hips. As we inhale, go ahead and uplift your right arm. Exhale, curve over. Keeping your sits bones rooting down. Taking in a side bend, a side stretch, opening up that right lung, and then cup a hold of the back side of your head with your hand, and then slowly peel the heart more open, maybe gazing up through the corner of the eyes. Aham, prima. I am pure love. I am love. Inhale, come up. Relax that hand down. Take a moment just to assess. Open up your palms on your lap, close the lids of the eyes. You might actually feel a little taller through the right side body. You may feel a little bit more of a higher frequency or a tingling sensation on that side. We're going to match it up. Fingertips back down beside the hips. Inhale, shine that left arm skyward. Exhale, curve now towards the front door. Sits bones still rooting down. Breath still being nice, open and full. Take the top hand, place it behind your head, and gently roll open through that side of your chest. So even the koshas, when we first started the series, I said you can compare it to being like an onion, like peeling the first 5 layers off the onion to get to the really good part of it. And that's what we're doing here with the koshas. Aham prima. That's something that you can repeat over and over in your mind. Inhale, bring it back up. Relax the arm. You're going to stand on the feet, having the knees bent. We're going to do one more movement before we start to restore. Hands are holding the shins. As you inhale, you're going to bring the heart through the knees and tilt the head back. And as you exhale, you round it into a cat stretch style. Inhale, come forward on the sits bones, splay the knees wider, crank the shoulders back, turn the chin and the eyes up. And as you exhale, the knees may narrow, the arms straighten out, contract your core, and push back into your shoulder blades. Do that a few more rounds. Last one. All right, we're going to bring the left foot in first and the right foot directly in front of that. Have your cross kind of available here in close range because we're going to start to move it more into restoration. So if you have really open hips, you may not need a prop at all. Okay, so it would look like this. Inhale, you're lifting to the crown. Exhale, you're hinging from the hips. You may want to rest on forearms, prayer hands, stacked arms, or all the way to the brow. Okay, if you're tighter in the hips or the low back, this is where Stonehenge could come in for you to drape over like this. Some people like even just resting the head there and letting the arms go. And then, of course, if you want to go lower than that, maybe meet yourself halfway in the middle, your arms can stack on blocks or a bolster. This is where we're going to take some rest. So this is where we're going to try to move out of the layer of the body, even though we are still noticing and honoring our limitations. We're going to use the breath as a tour guide to move deeper within the mind, perhaps dropping into the space between thoughts, or using a mantra to be your technique as your meditational tool. Now, we used Satnam earlier, which is all about truth, and we mentioned Aham Prima, which is all about love. If you want to use Satnam, Sat on the inhale, Nam on the exhale. If you'd rather use Aham Prima, Aham on the inhale, Prima on the exhale. Next in breath, we're slowly gonna start to back our way out. We're gonna give the hips a moment by stretching the legs out to the sides. We're gonna fold forward in this manner. So again, you might have been down really low with your hips, but maybe your hamstrings and your inner thighs are your catching points or your limitation, and you may need to be stacked on hands. Or again, stone hinge can be done here. You need to be higher. You can drop down lower. And of course, meet yourself in the middle somewhere. We don't want to take this to 100% of our edge. So even if you're really open and you can just flop down, I would go to that edge and then back up to make it more restorative. See how so we to sit like right at the edge of that. It'll give you just a little tilt forward, yeah. Just like in yin yoga, restorative yoga, you want the body to be passive, you want the muscles to soften. Wherever you are in this position, the breath will help to maintain a sense of calm. If the mind becomes overly active, remember a couple of those mantras you could use: Sat, Nam, or Aham, Brahma. Patient with your body, patient as any tightness or tension begins to unravel. And let's slowly start to come up out of that shape. Then we're gonna do that hip opening to the other side. So now we'll bring the right foot in first, and then the left will follow. Dependent on how we're crossing the legs and the feet will depend on which hip is getting a little bit more work. So you may be at a different height or degree than you were the first round. So lengthen the vertebrae first and exhale, begin to fold. Discover where you want to be and what your body allows. And even when your body is in that state of allowance, notice when you begin to hang out in it, when the mind wants to be entertained by thoughts or when it gets entrapped by certain visions or ideas, you'll notice tension starts to form in the body. Maybe your fingers extend. Maybe your lips and teeth push together. Perhaps some tension in your jaw. The crease between the eyes reforms. The furrow of the brow returns. Or there's gripping in the belly or low back. Those just are a few examples. We can notice how the mind affects the body, just like the body can have an effect on the mind. These layers have an influence upon each other. So continue to relax your body. Stay with your breath so that the mind can minimize thoughts or replacing your ordinary thoughts with a mantra. Satnam or Aham Krima. Before we come up, just start to notice. When you look within, when you experience what is happening in your body, the foot that is closest to us, that's going to be the side where the knee gets more flexion, where the hip gets a little bit more of a stretch. Good reason to make sure you get two sides in. And move back into your breath. Take a deep breath in. Maybe a cleansing breath out. And inhale it slowly. We're going to do a restorative back bend next. So you're going to have the bolster lined up behind you. And if you have some minor low back issues, when you roll to the bolster, if it's a little aggravating, what you have to do is push the bolster away to create a little bit of room and space. And that should alleviate it for you. When you roll back, your arms are going to be to the sides of you with your palms spun open. And I'm going to turn these overhead lights off. Check in with your lower body to see whether or not you want your legs closer together or a little wider apart. Since we're diving into the heart, bringing more energy up to this area, I'm going to play a song that has the Aham Prima mantra in it. So if you just want to listen, you can just take it in. If you want to repeat it when she sings it, it can be a little bit more powerful internally. If you don't like that, you can just
bend and recline butterfly with the soles together and the knees fan apart. Go ahead and lift the knees. Straighten the legs out. If on the other hand, you've had the legs extended, bend your knees and drop the knees to the sides, with the soles of the feet touching. Taking the opposite of what you've been doing. Draw back into your heart after that little movement. Breath can help to drop you out of your head and into your heart. Your legs are extended, rebend the knees. If your knees are fanned open, lift the knees and flatten your feet. We're going to separate the feet almost to the edge of the seat mat.
The knees are pointed upward. As you exhale, let the knees rock down to the left side. As you inhale, draw the knees through center. And as you exhale, let the knees roll off to the right. So we're just doing this windshield wipe twist a couple more times. Back and forth. Following the breath. The next time you send your knees off to the right, you can roll over to that side and build up for a comfortable seat. We're going to do one active twist here as well. When you come to sit up, lift the arms up alongside the face. And as you exhale, you're going to twist to the right, with the right hand coming to the floor behind your spine. Left hand crossing over to the right leg. Channel the breath up and down, in and out. Inhale, relift the arms, spin back to face the front. Exhale, rotate to the left. Right hand to the left thigh or knee. Left hand to the floor behind your back. Tailbone dropping down, crown of the head picking up. Inhale, lift the arms, spin back to neutral, and then exhale, bring your hands down to prayer position at your heart. We're going to close out our practice today with an affirmation rolling through the mind. Affirmations are another way to tap into this mental sheath. I am truth. I am love. I am light. I am light. I am love. I am truth. I am truth. I am love. I am light. I am light. I am love. I am truth. The light, the love, and truth that I hold within my heart humbly bows in deep respect to the light, to the love, and to the truth that you hold within yours.